USD. I'm going to start off in a 15-minute chart. We have the market opening within the next 45 seconds. So let's see how we pop off. I'll try to give us a quick synopsis of what I'm looking for. The first thing first that I would notice is we had a mini fail breakdown around this area. It's very congested right now, so it's not very reliable anymore, but you can see a low was set. We undercut that low and then went back above. So technically speaking, I'm a little bullish in the short term. Right here, also, you can see the flagging before the pop with everything going on around the world right now. The euro should be going up compared to the market, which might go down a little bit. So I think when we open in the next 15, 30 seconds, we should pop up. It might be a decent pop up, maybe even up to this range right here. So we're going to find out any second right now. If anything, we might undercut this low, and that's the first setup I would look for on the downside. A failed breakdown of this low set at Friday 2 o'clock. Going back to the 15-minute real quick, we're going to get some noise right away, so let's see when it happens. But the first thing I'm looking at is a recovery of this level. You can see we've tested it multiple times and came back down. We're accumulating below, so let's see. The first initial is a sell. And we might just undercut this area. At this point, I would still say maybe a recovery of this right here would be the first potential long. A failed breakdown is now possible of this area though, since we just lost it. Above there, I'm looking at a reclaim of this level. You can see we've tested it once. You can see over here, we tested it from above, sold down. From there, we came back to back test it. So now a reclaim of that would give me some hope. Below there, the failed breakdown of this was the first thing I was looking at. If that doesn't happen, I want to get into why this backtest level was perfect for what I was looking for and why it was exactly where it was. But beyond that, the two ways we can approach this area would be if we either dip and recover below this low or this low for a classic failed breakdown. If we don't get below either low, then you can just kind of play it by reaction, and that might be maybe coming above this whole low, so you could kind of make sure you're not too far stuck in just kind of consolidation or choppy action. So essentially what I'm saying is, if you're not able to get below one of these two lows, you can kind of wait to see the reaction. Maybe there'll be some structure built before we go back up, but things are a little volatile right now, so let's see what happens. While we're looking for more reaction right now, we're starting off a little slow, but it can kick up any second. I want to go to let's say a 45-minute chart first and kind of go over why this level, this backtest level, has been so huge and why my levels are pretty accurate in understanding how price action works. So I've had this backtest level for a long time. So this is a 2 hour. Let's go to a 6 hour first. Let's go to an 8 hour. Try to consolidate this as much as possible. So if you go back a little while away in April, we initially sold from this level on Tuesday, April 22nd. So let's go to a 45-minute chart real quick. Go to April 22nd. Bear with me. Gonna use a calendar date because this might just be easier. And you can see this was a strong shelf of support multiple times before eventually we sold from there, and we never came back up to test it. So I was looking for a back test at some point of this level. Did I know it would happen 2 months later or right away? No, but I kept that in my mind for the future, being just because you could see we obviously had a lot of action there before selling off from there. It's Tuesday, it's April 22nd morning, and we never got back there. So now going back to a 6 hour chart and going to the more immediate view, I want to show you how that played out. So you can see we came back to finally backtest it the first time right here on June 5th, and we almost got there, but we didn't quite get there. So did I think that it was time to change my levels up and change that back test? No, because I do know that the levels are fairly accurate if you're looking at them correctly, and that we would eventually get back there for a proper test. And from June 5th, we came back down and consolidated for a week almost, and then we eventually did tag that on Wednesday, June 11th. Now, you can see we tagged it, then pushed up, and then what did we do? We came back a couple of days later and back tested that level from the top now and became support while it was resistance, and that has set up the more recent long. Before we get back into that, I want to just show you a couple of examples here, the setups that I was looking for and how they worked out. So I was looking for a dip in recovery on Tuesday the 10th around 5 o'clock of this level to go long. You can see we lost the level, consolidated below, and then pushed through overnight. So that's when you want to go long. We also had a failed breakdown in that case because this low was set. We popped up, came back down, few points below, and then pop back up. Very tight setup, but definitely a dip in recovery slash failed breakdown there. Above that, I had a reclaim setup where I wanted price to hit this one more time and sell back down, then push through. You can see we tested it here once, here almost got there. So I figured a third time, if we can hit it, sell down a little bit, pull back and accept it and push through, that'd be a great long. And that did work out. So just want to show you that. Now going back to the back test level that we've been discussing, the one from April 10th. See how we almost got here. We came back, directly tagged that zone and sold down from 1500 down to 1479 for 21 points. You can almost see this is almost an exact touch of 1500 too. And then we pushed through. Awesome acceptance, perfect reclaim setup. Previous one weakens it, come back, test it again, pull back, and then go right back up, indicating no more supply, and that price is ready to push through. Awesome setup. Coming back down, we got a dip in recovery at that level. I'm going to go to a 15-minute chart here. I want to see what it looked like. Couple things you can see here. We kind of flagged our way into that zone, slowly selling, controlled selling, I call it. We didn't get a failed breakdown per se, but you can see how price tagged that zone, came back above it, consolidated around it for a while, and then pushed off of it at 7:30. Nice push off here, level showing a lot of support. This is when you could go long. This would be like a direct long dip in recovery type of setup here. It's not as pretty as some of the other setups, but definitely one that you can consider. Now, even before you consider that, you can look for some lows in that area, and you can see a cluster of lows here, 1, 2, 3. So that actually coincided perfect with that push off that level. So it's a dip in recovery at this level. We dipped below, we reclaimed it, we consolidated around it, then popped. Awesome. We flagged into it, more confluence. And the most important here, there were some lows that we undercut before the rally, came back to hit them one more time, and also offered a second entry at 9:30 in the market open here. So this is just a great thing to study. Trust the levels, trust the setups. Going back to where we are right now at EURUSD, it's getting a little tight. I'm looking for some recoveries here potentially because I don't have much lows to work with earlier. Now that I'm getting some structure, we did just undercut this low, and I could see a long couple points above when the spread slows down a little bit. So I'm going to put a green line indicating trigger for me. So this low right here is 1533.4. So 1536.4 is about right 3 points up. I could even say 1536, 2.5 points up, right above this right here. So I'm looking for price to go above that to indicate maybe a quick breakdown that could pay out decent, because I do think this whole price point should go up in the near time because of the war trades going on. So let me know what you think if you have any questions. Again, I know there's a lot of lines, but I try to make it simple as possible. It's not that complicated. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. All you're looking for, blue lines and white lines are the major levels. Blue lines being the major levels from maybe years ago. White lines typically the past few months usually, and or recent action. um, I provide all the lines because they're important. Most important though is just understanding the setups, failed breakdowns where we undercut lows like this and go back above them, second entries offered on those setups, reclaims like we discussed earlier. Right now, a reclaim I'd be looking at again will be like, for example, this level. You can see we pushed through this level and then got a second entry right here off of it, came back and back tested it, sold down from there, came back to back test it once. So now if we can reclaim that, I could see us going farther above. However, instead of a reclaim, I'd want to ideally get an entry below with a failed breakdown, so I'm not trying to chase the reclaim later.